Hello, guys, and welcome back to another story. Today's story is The Polar Express. You guys all have watched the movie. You guys all know who Tim Allen or Tom Hanks is. So, Tom Hanks plays the main part in the story here. So, here we go. Here's the story. On a Christmas Eve night many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. Breathe slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound. A, a sound a friend had told me I never hear. The ringing of the bell, a Santa sleigh. There's no Santa. There's no Santa. My friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I heard. Late that night, I did hear sounds. There was not a ringing of bells. From outside came the sound of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through the window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. There's the boy looking outside his window. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and my robe. I tiptoed down the stairs and out the door. All aboard, the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? I said, well, I asked. The conductor said, why? To the North Pole, of course, was he answered. This is a Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. As a Polar Express, this is where they sing the song. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. He sang Christmas carols. We sang Christmas carols, ate candies, and with nugget centered at the white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate balls. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed if we would scrap or scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through the valleys like a car on roller skates. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice. The great polar cap lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first, we saw no elves. They all gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift? We all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children. The elves outside. We saw hundreds of elves as our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl, so crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the when the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeers were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells. They hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointed to me and said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into the sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee, and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but thing, but the thing I wanted was the Chris most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked smiled. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood holding the bell high above him and called out the first gift of Christmas. The clock struck midnight. As the elves roared their approval, Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted to the reindeer, named and racked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we was back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa's sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said. The train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. looked for. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. What? I yelled out. He cupped his hand around his mouth. Merry Christmas, he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle, and it sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fits out whole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. Well, guys, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys did enjoy this story. I know I did. I really enjoyed it. Um, if you guys did enjoy this story, please remember to subscribe, and turn on notifications, and leave a like. And I'll, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.